Greetings, my lovelies, and thank you for stopping by today. Yes, I am alive. Yes, I did get my hair cut. And yes, you will probably see a few videos of me with longer hair. Don't worry, you're not trapped in some weird little time loop thingy. I have been attempting to record videos, I just haven't gotten around to posting it because school, but I am on summer. And I am taking things easy as I'm getting kind of back into the swing of things. Thus, the typical office background, not my usual green screen mess, because in all honesty, that's a little exhausting to deal with. But anyway, I digress. So for the first video of summer, we're going to go into a character dive, and today we're going to talk about Kaz Brekker from The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Bardugo? Yeah, either ways. So let's go! Now, if I were to be brutally honest, I know that The Six of Crows is part of the Grishaverse. And ironically, I came across Six of Crows before I came across the whole Shadow and Bone thing. So after reading the duality of The Six of Crows, so that's Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and I was like, oh my god, there's more to this fucking series, let me go read it. I did not care for the Grishaverse, did not like it, so, oh well. And honestly, like, you know, that's okay, because sometimes authors will put out things that we absolutely love, and sometimes they put out things that just don't really tickle our fancy. Does that mean it's a bad book? No, it just wasn't for me, and I know that it came first, and there were some issues, and she sort of fixed them in the second series, and clearly a much better job. But anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about the world in which the character lives in. So the Grishaverse is a made-up kingdom that is rich and complex. In The Six of Crows, it takes mostly in Ketterdam, which is kind of German-esque. They have things like von Brahms, their money is called Krugers, you know, sort of. That's the main city in the little island of Kirch. Now, in this world, there is a litany of characters that all really deserve their own dives, but in all honesty, like, they wouldn't even exist if not for Kaz. So that's why I decided to go for him versus all the other wonderful ones. And I am going to try to talk about him without giving too much away spoiler-wise, but it may be unavoidable, so if you haven't read this series, you can just go ahead and stop here, go read it, and then come back. So anyway, so when Kaz starts out, he is this very naive little country boy that moves into the Ketterdam after his family dies. Some shit happens that results basically in him pulling a Darth Vader, as it were. He lets his innocent self die, and he becomes this monster. All within the sake of getting revenge on the men that fucked him and his brother over to the point that it caused the death of his brother. Now Kaz has a nickname in this world of Dirty Hands because he is willing to do any fucking job. He is also a criminal mastermind at the age of 16. This man's analytical little mind and how he worms around puts my husband's to shame, and my husband can talk himself out of buying toilet paper. So while Kaz is known as a criminal mastermind, he also keeps people at his arm's length. He has his whole little crew within the larger gang of the Dregs. And he kind of runs the things for the Dregs so that the boss can get drunk and be merry, and so on and so forth. But everyone knows the job was done that was seemingly impossible to pull down. Kaz is the one that did it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about his character traits. We're going to talk about them pre-trauma and post-trauma because he is definitely a 180 character after that. So let's get started. So pre-trauma, we don't really know too much about Kaz except for that he's a bright, happy, naive little character. He is open and friendly and willing to trust, and he sees the good in all people because he's never seen the darker side. After the trauma, however, he definitely learned a very harsh lesson, and so he becomes a bit more analytical. He becomes a bit more adaptive and meticulous and disciplined as he goes towards his goals. Now those typically are not bad things, but Kaz does sometimes take them to the extreme. He's so narrow-minded in getting in what he wants that he doesn't give a flying fuck about who he hurts along the way. And he expects his orders to be taken without any type of question. Kaz is very addictive. He's addicted to revenge. That's all that he fucking cares about. He is very inflexible in getting to where he wants. You listen to Kaz or he's gonna fuck you up. That's it. He has no sympathy for mistakes, human nature, or even for people to question him. And while being driven is a general positive trait, he is driven to the point of madness. He is consumed by his rage. That's why I said he has a Darth Vader moment. So now that we've talked about his traits, let's look at what type of archetype Kaz kind of falls into. Now bear in mind, these are all just my opinions. You may disagree, and if you do disagree, please be sure to comment down below and let me know. I would love to see your thought process. Kaz was a tricky one for me to place, because clearly he can fall into the rogue category because he is someone that works outside the system. But he sort of lacked that charismatic Robin Hood, Han Solo, criminal with a heart of gold type of mentality or attitude. He wasn't necessarily someone who was overtly dark and twisted and whatever, because we do see some softer aspects of him throughout the series. So what I ended up settling on was the ruler, the king. He is the one with all the power when it comes to his particular group, and even within a larger chunk of the story. He's the one that organizes the heist. He's the one that kind of runs everything behind the scenes. Even though he's not the one that's in charge, he's the one that has all the ideas and makes them happen. He also expects his word to be followed to the letter. There's no room for questioning, and if you question the king, like I said, you're gonna get fucked up. He doesn't necessarily mingle well with his little minions. He keeps them all at his arm's length, partially because, well, largely because of his trauma and mistrust, and the fact that he's so driven by his revenge that he just doesn't have time for it. Although they all kind of worm their way into his little heart, a little, 3 inches too small heart, and when one of them does get hurt, we do see him seek vengeance on their behalf and almost lose his composure entirely, because it is in that moment that he realizes how important they are and that this is someone that he is meant to protect. In not like a alpha male type of way, but like, this is my partner, don't fuck with my partner type of scenarios. Overall, Kaz is a very interesting character, all in all, because he is this genius. The question comes around is he a criminal genius because of what happened to him and he had to learn, or was this always a part of him that we just never got to see because he's such a happy-go-lucky child? And had life been kinder to him, what would he be? And I am a sucker for the I hate everyone but you type of characters. It just warms little cockles of my heart. And I do know that the series has continued, or I should say not series, but the world has other books that I did not know about, and trust me, when I discovered it, I squealed in happiness, because I do really like this author. Some of her books are kind of hit or miss with me, but I'm excited because I know that Kaz and the others sort of show up later on in a few of the others, so that makes me really excited. And I did thoroughly enjoy her other book, The Ninth House, which I will be talking about later. So that is all that I have for Kaz, but before we jump off, I do want to, sit and chat about a couple little things that are, have changed a little bit, and stuff that is on the horizon. So as always, please don't forget that my latest book, The Hidden Temple, is out in the world. I have been absolutely terrible about talking about it because my mental health has taken a dive. Please go read it and enjoy it. Especially if you like morally ambiguous characters, ancient demons and spells, lost civilizations, and honestly, please go read it, because the whole reason why I wrote this series is from a scene that never made it into the first book, because I had to split the first book in half, but it's definitely in the second one, and I just love shitting on certain tropes because they just annoy the fuck out of me, and I do love this one. On top of all of that, I am running a new segment with my newsletter. If you go to my website listed down below, you can sign up for my newsletter. So in the newsletter, sort of to get an idea of what's going on with this channel, any special things that I have going kind of in the works and behind the scenes. But the newest feature is a Write With Me, Choose Your Own Adventure style story. I can't technically use Choose Your Own Adventure because it's trademarked, so I just choose to call it the Write With Me segment. And basically what it is that I am writing a little novella off on the side. It is a dark fantasy myth retelling. I won't say which myth because I want you guys to figure it out. With a magic system, corrupt government, and corrupt religion, warped histories, I should say, because you know nothing ever stays straight as it's told through time. So how it works is that I write up to a particular point to where our main character has to make a choice. You guys will get to choose the choice. The option with the most votes wins and goes forward to the carrying of the story. Does this mean that certain things might be missed? Yes, for the characters, not necessarily for the writers, for the readers, but we'll see as it flows along. So if this sounds like something that you might want to do, please be sure to head down to my website, sign up for my newsletter. The first little bit of the chapter is already on my website if you do want to read it. And that's it. So that is all the time that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoy your summer if you do not go to work or school at this time. And if you do, I hope that you can be able to get out and enjoy the nice, warm, sunny weather wherever it is that you are. So until next time, my friends, bye!